What's up, guys? Dan here for BladeReviews.com, and welcome to my size comparison between the ESEE III, the Izula II, and the Candiru. So like I said, this is not going to be a review. This is going to be a size and feature comparison between these three knives. Maybe you've decided you want to add a small ESEE fixed blade to your collection, to your gear, and you're on the fence between 1, 2, or 3 of these knives. Well, hopefully this video will help out with that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to give you a couple specs here. Of course, on the top we've got the ESEE III, then we've got the Izula II, and on the bottom we have the Candiru. And the ESEE III is 8 5/16 of an inch long. The Izula II is 6 3/4 inches long, and the Candiru is 5.13 inches long. Now, as for weight, the ESEE III weighs 5.2 ounces. That's with the handle scales, no sheath. 9.3 ounces if you're going to include the sheath. The Izula II weighs 3.2 ounces, and again, that's just the knife and the handle scales. And the Candiru weighs 1.7 ounces, and that is just for the knife. No sheath or handle scales or anything like that. So with that said, let's take a closer look at the blades here. Now, they're all drop point blade shapes on all three of these knives. The Candiru has been given a partial flat grind that hopefully you can see. So it's got a partial flat grind, while the Izula II and the ESEE III both have full flat grinds. I'm actually going to roll in some footage where I've turned these knives over on their side, and it can give you a little bit of a width comparison, but the Izula II is actually quite a bit thicker than the ESEE III and the Candiru. Both the Candiru and the ESEE III are 1/8 of an inch thick, whereas the Izula II is 5/32 of an inch thick. And all three of these knives are made from 1095 high carbon steel. So that's a non-stainless steel. It will rust, so you have to take care of it. Of course, ESEE has powder coated these blades in an effort to help mitigate any rust. The Candiru is in their green coloration. Of course, the Izula II and ESEE III are in their black coloration. Okay, so at this point, I would like to talk a little bit about the handles and ergonomics of these knives. And let's go ahead and start things off with the ESEE III. Now, the ESEE III, my ESEE III came with gray micarta handle scales over green liners. Really nice, attractive, and everything has been well finished. Lines up flush. Notice a little bit of detail work on the front there, really crisp. And everything has been held together by 3 sets of Torx bolts. In hand, it's a very comfortable knife. I'm able to get a full 4-finger grip. And for reference, I do take a size large glove, so there you go. No problem getting a full grip on there. There is a forward choil, which gives you even more options. I like that a lot. Feels very comfortable like this. They did install a run of jimping on the top there, giving you a little bit of extra traction. All in all, ergonomics are very solid. Note that the handle is not as wide as the handle on the Izula II, but still, the ESEE III is very comfortable, even under extended cutting tasks. So, I like it a lot. Let's take a closer look at the Izula II. And some of you guys might be wondering, Dan, what's the difference between the Izula I and Izula II? Where does that fit in this picture? And that's a great question. The Izula I is about 1/2 of an inch shorter, and it's got the same size blade, so that 1/2 inch comes out of the handle here. And also, you do not have to get micarta scales with the Izula I. It's a factory option, whereas with the Izula II, they come standard. I believe it's something like a $17 option. And I selected the Izula II over the Izula I because, again, I've got a larger hand here, and I can just get 4 fingers on the Izula II. Taking a 1/2 inch off would make it really into a 3.5, 3-finger knife, which isn't what I prefer for a real utility blade. And I will say, ergonomics on the Izula II are excellent. Nice fat handle, fills the hand really well. Got a little bit of jimping on top. The canvas micarta is high traction. Again, you got 2 sets of Torx bolts here holding it together, and it feels very nice. So, just a workhorse of a handle there. Finally, let's talk a little bit about the Candiru. And if you just buy the Candiru from the factory. It will not come with any handle scales. It just comes naked like this. Mine's got a little bit of tarnish and rust on it that I need to clean off, but it won't come with that. But it won't come with any handle scales either. That will be like a $14 option, and ESEE gives you the choice of G10 or micarta. And to be honest, I kind of wish that I tried the handle scales out. I might still buy those down the road because I like them so much on the Izula II. But here's the Candiru in hand. It is definitely a 3-finger knife, for me at least. I think for most people it will be. And you've got a little bit of jimping on top. It's comfortable for what it is. I mean, it's a very small knife, so you're not going to get nearly as much done with it, at least I don't, as a full-size knife like the Izula II or the ESEE III. But it's comfortable, and sometimes I like to pinch it like this. This is a great way to grip the knife. Just a simple handle. Alright, so finally I wanted to talk a little bit about the sheath or sheath system that comes with each knife. Let's start off with the Candiru here. It has a very simple black fold over nylon sheath. You've got a belt loop stitched onto the back of the sheath here. You also have a metal rivet, perfect for attachment to a lanyard. Like I said, it's a fold over style sheath with a Velcro closure. Nice generous sized piece of Velcro here. Inside your sheath you have a plastic insert, and it works well. There's no issues with the knife coming out. It doesn't rattle or anything like that. Another interesting aspect is you can actually insert the blade in there either way and it won't matter, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, it's just a no-frill sheath. It seems to work. Actually, I know it works pretty well, and it's nice and discreet. Let's take a look at the Izula II next. This one comes with a black molded plastic sheath. Very nice sheath. You've got multiple lanyard attachment points here. The large lanyard attachment point, you have a drain hole. The whole thing functions as a drainage hole. That's nice. You also have a place where you can weave in some webbing or your belt. And it's a very sturdy sheath. No rattle. It's not coming off. Holds the knife securely. Inserts with a nice strong snap. This is an excellent sheath. I really like it a lot. No frills, lightweight, virtually indestructible. It's a great sheath. Okay, so that takes us to the ESEE III, which also has a molded plastic sheath. It does include a drainage hole. You've got multiple mounting options here, and it does come with this little paracord and cord lock thing that ESEE says is good for vertical or horizontal carry, depending on how you thread your cord through there. So that's kind of interesting. You also get a couple MOLLE clips here with all the hardware you need to attach them to the sheath, so you can do horizontal or vertical MOLLE carry, with MOLLE compatible gear. And you also get a belt clip, or rather this is a boot clip. And the way that works is, you take your lanyard off, of course, but it just bolts right on here, and then you can insert this down into your boot. You got a boot knife. So this is pretty nice. I've also used this in my pocket. A lot of the knife kind of sticks up like that, but it is kind of fun, and could be handy for you. So a lot of options with that. Oh, and retention's very good. No issues with the knife rattling. Inserts with a nice snap. It's a very nice sheath. Great retention. Alright guys, that concludes the little size and feature comparison of these three ESEE knives. I hope you found it helpful. I tried to think of all the things that I would be interested in when looking at the similarities and differences. Hopefully I didn't leave something out. Let me know if I did though. If you have any comments or questions, I will do my best to respond to them. And I just want to thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Take care, and I will be back soon with more knife-related videos.